What up, my homies? Day number 4 of the World Championship. The World Championship has delivered for us. We've had upsets. Predictions have been hard to make. I'm feeling good. My eyes are red like a demon. But it doesn't matter because I sound like Morgan Freeman. It's all good. We start off the day with some World Elite versus Flash Fools. Even a game that people would consider low tier at this point. It's all Gucci. It's all Gucci. This is still a very exciting game. You know, it feels even bad calling it low tier. You know, it's not one of those most exciting games, but that is mostly because, you know, we just want to watch the Western games. But Flash Fools versus World Elite, you know, another one that is hard to predict. Of course, you have to lean towards World Elite, but all in all, you know, Flash Fools can still take that W. Let's take a look at the draft. You gotta stay hydrated. Janna first pick, Lulu ban. Pretty standard, no big deal. World Elite have been playing a lot of Janna, especially with the Xayah. I like the fact that Flash Fools banned Xayah here because World Elite looked too strong with Janna Xayah. They were the ones that figured it out first, that you have to play that shit, and it worked out beautifully for them. The response is Jarvan Tristana, which all things considered, you know, there's not a lot of 80s open now that can avoid Jarvan Ultimate that convincingly. Response from World Elite is Galio and Twitch. In a lot of cases like this, when you don't pick the strong jungler, Galio, they pick Galio over picking a jungler here, right? So the biggest issue, you know, for our buddies here is that I'm just gonna put on Epic Pen. Our biggest issue here for our buddies here is that they should be snapped in half by the bans that Flash Fools should throw at them here. Sejuani and Gragaspan, and then all of a sudden World Elite won't have an optimal jungle pick according to the meta. I'm sure they have something lined up for this, right? Because they're willing to pick the Gali here. But all in all, there should be a possibility of them being punished here. Tarek is the third Ardent Sensor support in line. No big deal there. They're going to... Like, the lane bottom should be quite even. You know, like Twitch, Tristana should have more pushing power than the Twitch. Twitch is going to look for the trades, but Tarek is very strong in trades too. If they can commit to all-ins, like with Tristana hitting W and then Tarek stun landing, then this is still a very lethal bot lane. World Elite, Janna Twitch, they should have some kind of advantage early on because they have two ranged champions. And then later at level 6, Janna should have an easy time disengaging the Tarek. And Twitch should just be able to disengage from that all-in that Flash Fools have to do in bottom in order to maintain prosperity. The main thing here is, even though Twitch has Janna by her side, I think Tristana can contest the push. Twitch will have to look for some short trades and then maybe bait out a Tristana W and slow play it. I think on paper Janna and Twitch should be the ones winning bot lane. We continue down the draft. No Gragas ban here. I don't like it too much. You know, like right here, I feel like this should be Gragas. I think the Gragas ban should be way more important. I think this is a big question mark. Syndra Orianna ban. If anything, like right now, it's surprising, right? Because Galio actually does fine into Shen. So if they wanted to blind pick something else where these bans would have mattered from World Elite, then they could have done that. Because I think, you know, these are probably some of the better matchups for Galio. So, you know, these bans are in a case where they need to send Galio top blind. But even then, that's dangerous, you know. I feel like banning mid laners here is not necessary. If anything, you would want to... Like the usual standard bans here is that people ban top laner, because blinding mid lane is always very easy here. You can pick Orianna, you can pick Syndra, you can pick Ryze, you can pick a lot of champions, and you will not be in trouble. Next thing up is the Gragas pick that we wanted to see banned here. They of course pick it up. World Elite go with the Rumble into the Shen. Even here they have the possibility, like Shen gets blind picked here, right? And World Elite have to pick either just like one of their solo laners and reveal where Galio goes, because of course this is a flex. So they're revealing where Galio goes and Rumble goes mid. So we have Galio, Rumble, Gragas for the magic damage, and then these two for the physical damage. It doesn't seem too bad. Like all in all, like Twitch can engage now with Galio, potentially like set up some play with Galio ultimate. It's definitely a possibility. Galio is going to be going mid. I'm not too big of a fan of it. I feel like they should have gone for something else here. I think picking Cassiopeia would have been a real possibility. Picking Cassiopeia blind with Syndra Orianna ban, I feel like Cassiopeia is a strong pick here, and then they could just send Galio into top. In mid lane, you know, the second thing is maybe the thought process is here that if they leave Galio, leave Gragas, then maybe Galio Gragas isn't the best combination together. But I still think that Gragas can manage to make use of Galio ultimate if he comes from the right angle. That was World Elite's composition. We talked about the Gragas. Flash Wolves on the other hand side, like they have some juicy things going on here. Let's just see if they lock in Vladimir. In fact, Vladimir should be the lock-in. The beauty of this, right, is so they got Jarvan, Tristana. They have an AD. They're playing against an AD that is easy to lock down. Right here, you know, Jarvan's gonna have a good time jumping into this person. Of course, Janna will have to peel. Janna has to peel a lot here in this game because, you know, the all-in from Flash Wolves is actually amazing. Like all these champions, they synergize together very, very well. I'm happy that Maple is running Ghost because it's very important that he gets in there with his pool, brings in the Shen, and then the Taric ultimate will drop, which will allow Vladimir to stay in longer and get his Qs off, you know. And of course, Tristana is just so flexible that she can be a part of any team composition and you can still be happy about it. So I like the mix here of what Flash Wolves bring to the table. I think there could be a chance where maybe the Shen blind pick could have been punished by World Elite. Sure, it is in a sense where Rumble is picked. Rumble will have pressure in that matchup, you know, for some time. But all things considered, Flash Wolves have a way better teamfight composition. Way better teamfight composition. What could happen is that Twitch, if he gets ahead in early, maybe he could open on Tristana before she dies, but that's highly unlikely. Like, who is Twitch going to open on here for him to safely win the game? Who is he going to open on? The Jarvan can EQ away, Vladimir has pool, Tristana can jump away, Taric might be a target. He's not that beefy when he's buying out the sensor, but it's still like a difficult thing to do, just to open and start slaying your enemies. It's not like that Fnatic game where Twitch was really good because the enemy team was filled with squishy targets. They had the Taliyah, they had the Jace, and I don't remember what AD, I think Kog'Maw was what Immortals were playing. So like on paper here, I think there's a lot of tools for Flash Wolves to just win the game later on in the game. So they definitely have the scaling on their side. The main thing here for World Elite is that they have a pushing top, most likely pushing bottom. Galio should be able to push early on. Vladimir should peak at level 9, and then he can slowly push Galio out of lane, I believe. And then Gragas can of course do things early on. So World Elite have things going on for them early, and then later down the line, Flash Wolves in their 5v5 should be able to bring it home. So let's see now if World Elite can snowball hard enough in the early game. I think later on this composition is absolutely crazy. The main thing here is that if Twitch is fed enough and he survives the initial engage from this team, So let's say that Flashwolves is ahead and Twitch is in a good state. Janna can also solo carry this game. Very important to highlight that Janna is really good against a full commitment composition. If, let's say, Vladimir ults, Tarek ults, Jarvan tries to get in there, Shen ultimates, you know, Janna can counter all of this. So Mystic, if he, not Mystic, what's his name? Ben, if he plays is very good. Janna can definitely carry this game single-handedly. Like, she can deny anyone access to Twitch if that is the case, and maybe we need to consider the fact that you know, if Flashwolves dive hard enough, then the Galio ultimate will also be very effective. Same thing can be said for Rumble. So World Elite do have some good champions here to disengage. So maybe I'm overestimating Flashwolves' composition here. Gragas can also disengage. There's a lot of tools here on World Elite, you know, come to think about it. Maybe the late game is going to be heavier contested than I thought. Yeah, I'm starting to put myself in a mind where I'm giving World Elite more favor because of these two. Because Flashwolves, like, they're using their ultimates, and then like World Elite just need to get out, and Flashwolves need to get kills in the initial clash. Yeah, and Galio can also peel very well. Rumble has a good time when people run into him, and so does Twitch if he gets peeled for. This can turn into a crazy game. Like, the more and more I think about it, maybe I'm gonna give favor to World Elite here, even in the later parts of the game, because of this pick here and this pick. Let's just see. We've been talking about draft for quite some time. I think we've talked about the potential of every composition. I feel like it might be hard for World Elite to commit to fights, but they can disengage very well. Disengage and contest minions. Flashwolves have good engage tools, but Janna is definitely key here. Janna is 100% key. Early on, I feel like World Elite have advantage in most lanes, and we'll just have to see it in action. Let's just get to it.
조합이에요. 그래서 한타 누가 더 센지 진짜 한번
Yeah.
제대로 붙어보자라는 얘기인데, 그럴듯한 조합이 구성됐다는 생각은 확실히 들어요. 물론 W의 조합을 봤을 때 그라가스 젠나가 일단 같이 있고.
That's a good point. Alright, let's speed this up a bit. Shanghai, Beijing. Coming at you live from Berlin. The World Championship. It's wrong to say because I'm not even live. Task Manager. Someone told me how to fix this. Man. Someone told me how to fix this, but I just don't remember. And I don't want to look for it now. Desktop Windows Manager. Is it this? What is the fix? What is the fix? The crucifix. Man. Okay, that's a short-term solution fix. Let's take a look at level 1 and where everyone starts. Sorry for the technical issues, you know, a bit of a ESL vibe on that one. To feel old school. You know, I'm old school. I've been playing this game for about 7 years. almost 8 years. Feels good, man. League of Legends is in my blood. It's in my crypt too. Please, don't kill me in the streets of LA. Nothing fancy in level 1. Clash rules and World Elite just exchanging some icons. Drop the icons on them. Yeah, World Elite just have so many tools to disengage. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm just liking World Elite's composition here. Flash rules, it was it came together very neatly here with the Vladimir and the Shen, but you know, the disengage from World Elite is very, very powerful. Did Galio steal some small raptors in level 1? I want to take a look. Oh, Rumble and Galio together stole some small raptors here. Very juicy, very juicy. You can see that Rumble already has 4 CS and 1 CS for Galio, meaning they get level 2 on the first wave already, which is a big deal. You know, it's a big deal for sure and can matter in the lane phase. You can see Rumble lost some HP here though, but it's not going to matter too much against Shen. He's level 2. Let's see if he can harass Shen here a bit some more. I don't think Rumble lost any CS. Karsa with the full clear. Main thing with Rumble is that he can get ganked. Everyone says, oh, Rumble is so easy to gank. But the main thing is that Rumble pushes most lane matchups, right? So, in the case where Rumble is pushing, he should be able to place a very good ward that makes sure that he doesn't get ganked and also gives his jungler space to play around him. You know, so Rumble getting ganked early is very rare if you play the Rumble correctly, meaning that your team plays correctly, you place the ward correctly. Pushing early on is most of the time just positive if you can get into this space. Condi right now is completely safe because, like, considering that Rumble is first here on River, even in this case, right, he's going to outtrade Jarvan if a trade happens. But let's just say he's weaker than Jarvan and he's going to contest the crab. Then Rumble's going to have priority, and then also in this case, looking at mid lane, it seems like Vladimir would have priority into mid, so it would kind of counteract the idea. But let's say mid doesn't exist, right? Rumble has priority into this space, and if the jungler can walk here first, it means that Rumble cannot get ganked, right? So if you play Rumble correctly and he is in a matchup where he can push early, or if any champion is in a matchup there where they can push early, then you can set yourself up to be in a state where you don't get ganked. There's a few unique cases, like if you're playing against Shaco, maybe you can't push in the wave in time, or maybe you're playing against an Elise that gets like a super hard leash on red buff and does only, like, gets a leash as well at the same time on Raptor. Then Elise can maybe be in time to punish a Rumble that is only level 2. But this is mostly when Rumble is blue side, I mean red side more than anything. So one thing to point out, I said that Vladimir is going to start winning after some levels, but it seems like Vladimir is already winning. I wasn't too certain about this matchup, I haven't seen it too much, but I imagine that Galio would just be pushing, throwing Qs and ignoring the Vladimir for as much as possible. But it seems like it's not possible to ignore Vladimir completely. It seems like he had enough power in him to just harass our Galio down here. Excuse me. So after Galio came back, he has a lot of items here. You can see that he's going to easily push with the item advantage he has against Vladimir. Pushed in, Gragas was also in mid lane. They're walking for the Raptors. Karsa has taken 4 of them already. so it's not a big deal. I think Coney was one of the first players in playing that actually used any priority that his laners have, which I think is a very positive thing. I saw very little of it at play-ins, and it was very disappointing in general. You know, as soon as the ultimates start coming online with the Shen ultimate and the Galio ultimate, I think we will see a bit more action. Bot lane with some heavy trading. We haven't really talked about bot lane at all. There's the all-in. Betty gets exhausted on the rocket. It's a very neat counter to Tristana in the sense that you can exhaust very late and then exhaust the damage of the explosive that she puts on people. Like World Elite is hanging on to this bot lane and doing just fine. Both supports have base for the support like coin upgrade, which is a big deal. They all went for it, and I don't know if it delays your Ardent Sensor, it gives you more gold in the long run, but I'm not too sure if it delays your Ardent Sensor or not. But in general, you will get more gold in the end, and you'll reach redemption faster for sure when you buy this item. So that's a fact I can present to you. You will reach redemption faster, that's for sure. If you pick up your coins, you can't just wait in base and then get redemption faster. No. So the main thing here is that what we need to pay attention to is that Rumble is at a TP disadvantage. There's this window where Flash Fools is definitely in a very strong position. You can see that Flash Fools have all the vision that is necessary, and maybe, just maybe, they can create like a dive situation in the bot lane, because Twitch still doesn't have items. Shen has ultimate. There's the EQ. There's no 6 on Janna. This might be like a prime time dive situation. Galio just did blue buff. Vladimir is topside. Vladimir is here with mid priority. This is huge. Taric ultimate lands. No 6 on Janna. Holy moly, could have that just gone better somehow? Taric just gets smashed in here, like Taric. This looked like it just looked like such a good situation here. Galio counter ults. Gragas walks straight down. Gragas was a bit late, right? And it just looked like a prime time situation. Shen was low when he TP'd in. Taric gets caught under the tower. I think Taric doesn't need to die here. Taric could just when I saw this for the first time, I thought it was like easy pickings here for Flash Fools, but Galio is super tanky, right? And Galio is not a target that you can probably dive. But here, our dear friend Swordart could just walk out from this direction and he would probably be fine. His teammates could pick him up from here. Very important here that MMD, when he TPs in, he's very low HP. He has no HP at all when he comes in. AD and support. Like these two people right here, they don't do, like, I guess not support, but Betty doesn't have items, he only has Dorans. So he doesn't do a lot of damage in this dive, which is also an issue, right? So maybe it's more important. Yeah, it's probably more important for Flash Fools to be in base if they're the ones committing to the dive. Even though Twitch hasn't gotten a base, him having a BS sword in this case wouldn't matter because he didn't really get any auto off. So the items of Betty are definitely more important in a situation where Flash Fools are diving. So I think this was the 2 issues or 3 issues. This was 1, Sword are dying for no reason, MMD's HP, and then 3, the fact that AD didn't base and didn't have any items to provide any DPS here. That's what went wrong. Well, on paper, it looked very, very good, right? They outnumbered the enemy team. They had a tempo advantage here, and they came into it with a lot of poise. But Galio is very strong in this case. Galio spikes very hard early in the game, and he came in with the ultimate. Twitch died 1-for-1, definitely worth of a full world elite, right? Rumble's been farming away up top lane. You can see the CS differential stacking up now. MMD is like 20 CS behind, and it means so much as well that Vladimir lost his summoners. Shen also burnt ultimate and TP. Rumble's done with TP now. It's insane now when Rumble has TP advantage over Shen, is that he's gonna be pushing, and then eventually he'll be the one TPing, so world elite. Like, you can go as far as saying that this type of situation is like a game-winning situation for World Elite right now. You know, all they need to do is do the reverse, do the play into bottom themselves. Galio seems to have some kind of priority here in mid lane, if he has blue buff especially, that he can just Q the wave, and eventually, whenever Gragas is in position, whenever Rumble's in position, just commit to the dive bottom, because as we can see, Gragas has the vision to supply the situation. We can take a step back and just pay attention to how Gragas got his vision. We can take a step back here, and it is plain and simple. You can see that Ben and Kondi are working here together and just walking in here and placing a bunch of wards because they had priority from before. They just ran out straight from bottom. We will see now what comes next. I just need to double check, like Janna already based in the dive situation. Yeah, Janna already based, Gragas already based. So that is the advantage they have. Just because Janna and Gragas already based, and you can see that Flash Wolves didn't base, that is also a big advantage of this. Not only didn't Tristana base, but everyone here didn't base. Karsa didn't base, Betty didn't base, Sword Art didn't base, and after this situation, Janna has already been in base, Gragas has been in base, he has Cinderhulk ready. They can just scatter here on the map and gain a lot of vision already and set it up. This was another benefit to what World Elite accomplished here. You know, there's always a thing with committing to these dives. It's a very high risk and a high reward. You know, I think I would say medium reward. Like imagine a scenario here where they get maybe 2 kills, Sword Art doesn't die, and they can start hitting at the tower. Then all of a sudden it looks like such a different play. It looks so much crisper and cleaner. But we did point out 3 mistakes, 3 problems for Flash Wolves why it didn't work out. Even though on paper being 5 bottom when the enemy team could just be 3 maximum, or Gragas coming in, 3 with Gragas coming in, then, you know, usually those type of scenarios are good if you are setting up your dive. But we already talked about that for a very long time, so we can move on already. Kondi, he's loving those birds. You know, he's like collecting them like KFC. You know, if he, you know, this is, we need a KFC Gragas made for Kondi. This bucket, there should just be a KFC bucket. He's just collecting them chickens. Very well put here how they are placing Galio in mid lane, and then Gragas is just making sure he's using the priority from mid to go to those Raptors. They don't even need to force any engagements, right? Because it's hard for Vladimir to kind of push Gragas and Galio away because they are so tanky and healthy, and they can also kill the Raptors very, very fast. It's 1 Q from Galio and 1 Q from Gragas, and that's enough. Let's take a look now, bot lane. They spotted Jarvan. Like Jarvan gets spotted here once, he gets pinged out, he backs off, doesn't walk past. With the vision that World Elite is supplying here, they can easily play into bottom. Main thing for Flash Wolves is that they need to wait out World Elite's TP advantages here. Shen ultimate is coming up in about less than 30 seconds. The wards are getting pinged out. Kondi is now coming in. Flash ult by their friend here, Ben. It's important now that World Elite just tried to go for bottom tower now. Flashos might aim to go bottom. Shen ultimate is coming online. Galio is going to be first in the bottom engagement. Betty has Summoner, so does Condi. Maybe we can get some E flash here. Condi doesn't go for it. He thought maybe he can bait the flash from Tristana. Shen ultimate also comes in. Maple is here. This took a very long time, so this might be dangerous for World Elite. The numbers are going to be very similar. Shen is going to ult in as well. Galio is very tanky though. Galio is under the turret. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Mixed feelings here about what happened, because Vladimir engaged while his team was hitting Galio. Turret is eventually falling. Big difference here is that Mystic actually has items to hit the turret, right? He has a bunch of attack speed that he bought. The Janna shield together with that synergizes very well. So let's take a step back and look at what just happened. I felt like this took too much time. All things considered, World Elite could have done this and outnumbered the enemy, because they waited so long for the Shen ultimate and they had the vision to supply this play up topside. They could have just basically played through mid. Instead of taking the Raptors, for example, they could have just stepped up into their bot side. Jarvan was spotted walking into top side, and they could have just walked straight into bottom and created this situation earlier. But instead, it was delayed until the fact that Shen has ultimate here. So I felt like Flash Fools could have definitely made this decision and play earlier. Afterwards, you can see that Maple's already moving. Galio having priority matters, right? But he doesn't get to use his ultimate, so he doesn't have that big of a time differential here on Vladimir. Vladimir only has Ghost. He's going to Ghost in here. Lands his ultimate on 3 people, but then he has to kind of pull out already. It's kind of a trade-off of Vladimir and Galio HP here. But the turret took a lot of damage during this, because Mystic was very keen on just hitting it the entire time. So World Elite come out of it with a turret, and of course they're going to be happy with this. The more and more I think about the comms, the more and more I just like World Elite's composition. The more and more I think World Elite won draft. In the beginning I was like, Flash Fools here have this juicy engage comp, you know, but the more and more I see it, I'm just happier and happier to see World Elite's picks. We saw the disengage in action. Main thing here is that Karsa kept his ultimate. No flash on Janna. It might be the target now. Flash will have to commit to this if they want to go. Janna will be dead now. No ultimate on her. Heal comes out. Taunt comes out. Lot of damage from Mystic. Holy moly, Mystic. No Galio ultimate ready. Holy Galio. Holy moly. Like, Flash Fools should be very happy with this fight, but it seems like World Elite are going to get the tower in the end, because Flash Fools get away with a lot of low health people here. Zaya, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm sorry. I know someone mentioned it in the comment in one of the World Elite videos, but I don't know. Mid laner of World Elite. Holy moly, will Flash Fools just ace him here? It looks like it's gonna ace him. Whoa. Alright. Well, that's an unofficial ace. Very important here that World Elite, you know, the way they use Janna ultimate, it might have been a bit too preemptive, because Jarvan ultimate is coming off cooldown here, and it's a problem that Ben is even in a position where he needs to use his ultimate. Like, why is he walking up so far here and not working with the angles? Because looking at World Elite's vision, right, they only have one dead spot, and it's right here, and he just played into it completely. Otherwise, World Elite have complete vision. They have complete vision, and you know, they have no issues at all here. They just have complete vision, and I'm sorry, I was distracted here by some anonymous entity to the left. So we were talking about vision, yeah. Ben has one dead spot, and it's right here. You know, if he can get EQ'd from this angle, if you take a look at the minimap, this is the space that they don't see, right? This is the space right here. This is the space they don't see. If Jarvan comes from any other angle, like from here, then he, like all these spaces he can see from, right? So Ben is kind of playing to the one dead spot that he can't see in, and is forced to use ultimate. So think about the situation if he still has his ultimate. He doesn't have flash, right? So he's an easy target, and World Elite just commit into this. Flash Fools are in a situation where they're the ones with the TP advantage, right? So this is very risky in itself, and if they just had the Janna ultimate here to disengage, and Gragas would have done something similar, maybe Gragas could have cast some enemies away. Like, Gragas still has ultimate right now, and it could have been used a lot better here, I feel. Kondi could have potentially just disengaged the entire fight. And the mistake was definitely from before, where Janna had to ult for no reason, pretty much. She ulted when she just got like EQ'd by Jarvan for no reason. Like, World Elite is a team that goes away with the objective. I also know that World Elite is no longer World Elite, but to me, World Elite is always going to be World Elite. So I couldn't care less, man. I'm not gonna call a team WE. What is WE? World Elite sounds badass as hell. Whoever made the decision to change the name is a clown, man. Missing, getting a lot of damage in. So Ben just gets popped, he doesn't have ultimate, gets taunted. I think the usage of Kondi's barrel here, like his ultimate here, is really, really poor. It's, if anything, it helps Jarvan. And I don't think it's too good. Kondi also still has his flash. I felt like maybe he could have used his E-flash a bit more prominently. Right now, that's what he uses his flash. Maple comes in and picks him up for free. I think it's a bit crazy to try to go for the Vladimir. Doesn't seem like they have enough damage to kill him. Storm Raiders gets popped. Karsa plays is very, very good, I think. Like, Karsa is baiting a lot and then waiting for his cooldowns, and then always like, he EQ'd a lot of people here and ulted very, very well, and managed to get the kill on Twitch. Even though he was very low, he played this very good, and trading himself for the Twitch there was good, I think, in the long run. Alright. Well, they get the turret though, so gold-wise, it's not that terrible. Flash just picked up 5 kills unofficially, and they have this combo where, like, if Vladimir gets too many kills or Tristan gets too many kills, then it can get a bit dangerous very, very fast. You know, everyone's been playing a league, and everyone has played those games against Vladimir when he's too fed. And it becomes really hard to deal with. Comparing the items now, though, it's like Rumble is in a very happy state. Rumble has finished his magic penetration items, and he is way stronger than Shen in a 5v5. Galio as well, this is like, I feel like this is like Galio's peak. He's going to continue scale until 3 items, and then he'll fall off. So right now, you know, if World Elite are in a fighting position, you know, it's something they're happy with too. Maple has no summoners, and I feel like he's heavily reliant on that. Rift Herald gets stolen away by Flash Fools. What just happened, man? Holy moly, he just smites it away. I'm not too sure if I'm happy with that usage of Shen ultimate. Like Shen ultimate just gets used on Vladimir, and Vladimir doesn't have Ghost or Flash, so his ways of going into this fight are very slim. And I feel like Flash wolves are always hesitating because they know Janna can just disengage. Janna is just stacking onto her enemies or onto her teammates, and she can always disengage. It's a hard thing to play around, you know. Janna completely counters Flash wolves teams. The main difference between like a Sejuani engage and like the engages that Flash wolves have is that Flash wolves engage is very physical. You know, they have to. Their engage is the fact that they are locking people down physically by being very close to them and, of course, engaging with the Shen, and that is where Janna shines, right? But I feel like Flash wolves have to try. You know, sure, they could wait in for some items and wait for like Galio to fall off, wait for Tristana to get some beef onto her, but you know, same thing can be said for Twitch here on his late game. Excuse me, I feel like I have something in my throat. I just need to deal with this because this is driving me crazy. Just be right back. I'm so distracted. I need to just be right back 2 minutes. My goodness, my throat is just completely giving up on me. So the main thing here is let's assess the game. Let's start there. Vladimir is on the side lane. Galio is gonna be able to match. I feel like at this point Galio is not gonna die. He has a lot of MR. He's gonna be fine being against Vladimir. Vladimir has no TP, right? So he needs to just push and leave as soon as he can. Galio is going to be able to contest that, but the way Vladimir and Galio will interact is both will just kill the wave and then walk away. They're not going to have time to interact with their teammates. The craziness here about Flash wolves is when they engage, Galio is going to get a fantastic ult for sure, and Janna is going to get an insane ult as well. And those are like the big question marks here for Flash wolves all the time. Like they can play around the fact that Tristana is Tristana, and they can just play with the range, make her be the ones getting autos. I feel like Conde could have explosive cast a bit early there and put his team in a better situation. Like if he just ult E'd here, then it would have been better. But he ults afterwards, and he could have just played this mechanically better, I feel. No, it's crazy, you know. World Elite, they are constantly looking for a good engage. I feel like in the back of their mind they always have the Janna, but the angle of Karsa here is absolutely insane. Wait, how did they just flash? What was the flash? What? Ben just flashed and was still stuck in the ultimate. What the hell? He flashed and was still stuck in the ultimate. Mystic has flashed still. Like Ben flashed here and it's just he survives. So who cares, you know? It's not a big deal. 1 for 1 so far, and where the Elite have more health to stay in their lanes, but Ben just whiffs his flash. And it's crazy how valuable the Janna ultimate here is. Like, the Janna ultimate just heals for so goddamn much, and it keeps everyone here alive. The main thing here is that some of Flash Wolf's important cooldowns just got burned here. Imagine a scenario where the Taric ultimate wasn't used, because Taric ultimate actually does nothing here. Like, personally, I was very excited for this guy, Sword Art, and his performance at Worlds, but I feel like he's been quite overhyped. I think Sword Art's performance has been not that great. This Taric ultimate is wasted, right? And Taric ultimate is a massive cooldown. The engage, could the engage have been better? Vladimir gets his combo on two people, the two very important people. No ignite, no nothing to keep the healing in check. Like, we need a new graph, we need Janna healing done here. Because this was crazy how effective this Janna ultimate was. Like, even if Ben fucked up his flash, he could just stand there and channel the entire ult without dying. And that means so much. Come to think about it, like, it's not a lot of ways for Flash Wolves to interrupt this. The stun comes in very, very late. Like, looking at this engage, like, look how far away Betty, ugly Betty here. No offense, I have no idea how Betty looks like. Like, Ugly Betty is a show I used to see on TV, and I thought it was garbage, and it didn't make sense to me. And yeah, that information doesn't matter to you. But Betty right here and Taric, they're not ready for this engage at all. They're running and gunning it like they robbed the bank. And they're still walking away. Like, they're so far away when this engage happens, right? So while this engage from Karsa probably couldn't have been better, and the combo from Vladimir couldn't have been better, the main DPS here that they really, really need to kill targets is not here. And you can see how desperately Sword Art comes in here and tries to put a W on someone and then stun, but doesn't mean too much. And in a situation where Flash Wolves were completely ready for this engage, I think it could have ended so much worse. And now we realize why Janna survived for so long. There was no AD anywhere near to this situation, and that's a big issue. That's a big issue here for Flash Wolves, that they completely miscommunicated that situation. And Karsa, he found the perfect engage, I would say, and it went even better than they'd hope, because Janna failed her flash. Janna got the full ultimate off, and the main problem was here that Betty and Sword Art didn't. They weren't really participating in the fight here at all. I want to see what Condi is also doing in this engagement here. Is that he's peeling the Shen. He's peeling the Shen. That's what he's doing, and he's also distracting Flash Wolves. Because potentially, what could have been done here from Betty was that he would have just fought in this area, got the reset on Janna instead, and they just ignore the Gragas. Because maybe then, like, if Betty just went here instead of going towards Gragas, then maybe, just maybe, like, Gragas was already zoned from the situation. Like, Gragas wouldn't accomplish much. He already used his E. He was practically like dead meat. And if Betty committed to this situation instead, maybe got the reset on Janna instead of killing the Gragas, then maybe the situation would look different. Of course, then Gragas would be in this area right now, and he would be able to E over the wall eventually after walking like the path. Maybe he would be behind as well, which is also a possibility. Like, if we take a step back, let's take a look at the exact moment where Gragas gets jumped on. Taric ultimate wasted. Betty and Sword are out of position for the initial engage. Here, Betty would have to, like, get into this area. Like, Zai has no cooldowns, right? So it's not too terrible for him to jump in there. Galio had E, but no W, because he W'd before. And maybe, just maybe, he could have just jumped next to Galio and also the enemies that Vladimir was on. He had a lot of healing also from Taric ready to go in any case. Like, there's a possibility that he just jumps into a meat grinder as well, right? If Twitch targets him and ults him and maybe gets autos off, but he would have to auto through a lot of people. And the main thing here is with Twitch, if he can't auto, like, sure, he can auto through people, but if he's trying to target someone behind a lot of targets, that main target of his is gonna take less damage when he ults. That was kind of a dream scenario for Flash Wolves. Like, the more and more items they get, like, they have to kind of hope and pray that they one-shot these people without summoners. Like, the fact that Twitch and Janna don't have Flash is a very big deal for Flash Wolves. Janna Ultimate needs to be used for some very great things, but it's very hard to Janna Ultimate a Vladimir if he's pulling. Like, the way Flash Wolves want to play this is that they make sure that Jarvan gets his ultimate off, then Vladimir just goes in, pulls with the Shen ultimate on top of him, and then they're in the mix there. And it's a question of how patient Ben is with his ultimate. He has bought some MR now, so he doesn't get blown up by the Vladimir. World Elite now ganking the Shen. You know, World Elite are in no position to do any type of plays onto the Nashor either. Galio is in position, Gragas is in position. Mystic is just gonna pick this kill up. Holy moly. Very, very smooth play as well, because you can see that World Elite here are positioning themselves around the Nash area in case Flash Wolves try something crazy here. Like, Twitch is doing so much damage, so Shen couldn't even ult away if he wanted to do that. Of course, Shen has no armor, right? So those crits look a bit more scary than they are, but Twitch is quickly approaching 3 items. Execution is calling bot on Tristana, so the Janna ultimate will not carry as hard as as before, but it's not like Tristana can apply this to everyone in the enemy team. Like, she's gonna auto everyone once, or what? Like, just run around tagging enemies. Maybe if her E applies to all people, then she can apply it to everyone. But that seems highly unlikely too. So when it comes to contesting waves at this point in time, I feel like Shen should be able to do fine against Rumble. Rumble will have to reach Void Ceph until he starts demolishing him again, but I think Rumble should still be pushing though. And in mid lane, I feel like it's relatively even in mid lane. The main thing is 3v3 World Elite win in mid. And the main problem for them is that Galio can support mid lane very, very fast if there's a fight going on. Vladimir is going to be trying to contest and kill the top waves at the same time as Galio, but as long as it's Galio there, he can support the mid lane fight so much faster. So Flash Wolves need to be very wary in mid lane. Like, Galio can be in mid very fast, Vladimir cannot. And sure, you could think like Maple should run TP, but to be honest, like, when you have Ghost and Flash with Vladimir, you can do so much more, because it's all about getting in. And when you have a team comp that has a Shen and a Taric, it's important, so important, that Vladimir actually can consistently get in to the backline with his pool, so Shen gets delivered somehow to the enemy and Taric ultimate is used to maximum effect. But once again here, Galio has an advantage, and Flash Wolves are respecting it, which means that as long as World Elite can maintain mid priority here, they're going to keep the pressure in river towards top side. I'm not too sure about what Maple is doing up here. He's not trying to contest the wave up top. He's not trying to accomplish anything really. He was doing golems, and he's doing a lot of running around. Because right now, if this was the case, you know, let's take a step back and look how World Elite executed this. So Galio is up top, catching the wave that Vladimir pushed in. Rumble's bottom. Galio is in river for the first mid wave. So that is very well played. He walked towards river here, E towards the river to make sure that he's in range of Galio ultimate if there's something happening in mid. World Elite get the wave in mid very convincingly and then walk towards top side to pressure Vladimir off. Galio gets pressured off, gets pressure in top lane, and then World Elite go back into mid lane. And the next wave is coming in here, and then Galio is still, like he's in Tribush, but he's still close enough to support this at all times. That's why Flash Wolves have to respect it. And after that, once again, next wave is coming up top, and World Elite are just hiding in fog, right? They're hiding in fog, but they stealthed it out now with Mystic. Maybe this was a time where they could have done something with Vladimir, but let's take a look now. Like Mystic is showing up on the wave. He's backing off. Now he's backed off. Galio is clearing the wave. Galio is now calling that the wave is, like Vladimir is not contesting. Vladimir is nowhere to be seen, so Galio can take it for free, and then they are walking into mid lane. Worst thing that could happen is that Vladimir supports this, but they have enough vision to see that coming if it happens. Very beautifully played here from World Elite, and how they're using the fact that Galio can support this very, very fast. They're like alleviating pressure from each other by supporting each other at the times. And that is why, you know, the beauty of what World Elite are doing here is that they're playing through mid and playing mid-centric, and mid, the creeps clash first. The creeps clash first, so it's all about getting priority mid first, because it is centered on the map, and it's also the creeps, they arrive first there. So when you kill the creeps and then walk topside, you will be just in time for the wave to crash top. So Galio standing in river, and then his team supporting him in river allows him to walk up to the wave after they clear the mid wave. So Galio is supporting mid with his ultimate by being missing, and then World Elite are just playing to topside and creating the situation where Vladimir needs to take a decision. The way Flash Wolves can execute this and kind of cut this in half is to just try to farm less efficiently, because right now they're going to get slowly suffocated, and World Elite are putting themselves in situations where Nashor will be the target. Flash Wolves, what they need to do to break through this is that they need to push out, or catch one wave top, and then group up as 4, and then get mid priority, and then play into top side. That's just the benefit of having TP or Galio for that matter. Condi has been very unimpressive in this game. Like his caskets and his E's and his engagements are just not on point. Like right now, Condi could have definitely like E, ult, flash, and he could have definitely trapped Tristana here. The Tristana, maybe it's bad considering that Tarek ultimate would probably come down, and Shen ultimate would come down, and Tristana wouldn't get one shot. But then he should have saved his ult to begin with, right? So the Shen ult is also a bit preemptive. Like the Shen ultimates that have happened this game on like Vladimir, and I just feel like it should be on different targets. I feel like Flash Wolves are constantly just hesitating because they think that Janna is just gonna disengage, and she will, right? She will, but Flash Wolves still have tools to avoid the disengage and still be a part of the fight in the long run. But here they are the ones disengaging, and The difficult part is when World Elite are walking in like this, they don't have vision over Twitch, they don't see where he's walking, and that is the guy they want to counter-engage on. If they counter-engage on Gragas or Galio, then they're just going to lose the fight because Twitch is going to out-DPS Tristana. Let's slow this down a bit. Let's go back into normal speed. So this Shen ultimate is too snap heavy. Like it's not necessary. Like Shen is not too deep in the fight. The main difficulty here for World Elite is, you know, when they lose a Taric ultimate like this, and when they want to kind of react to World Elite's engage, then they will lose the DPS race. Let's say they commit here on both Galio and Gragas. Like Twitch opens, right, and starts hitting Shen. But before that, let's say this is the case. Like when right now, re-engaging here sure looks really juicy, but imagine a case where Twitch is standing here, right, or Twitch is standing here, then all of a sudden they just instantly lose the game because Twitch has like the perfect angle to hit as many people as he wants with his Hurricane, right? So this counter engage here is really hard to do. Counter engaging here is very, very hard to do. Even though looking back at it, it looks very, very juicy, right? Imagine if they saw Twitch here and Jarvan, instead of EQing back, he just EQs in, Vladimir goes in, and Shen does the same. All of a sudden you have a good angle, and Taric just puts his ultimate down, and they'll get a lot of value from it, right? But it's very difficult to do when you don't see this this boy here. But Mystic just opens exactly at the time where Jarvan EQs out, and that makes him 100% safe. Big problem here for Taric in general is that he has a lot of Q stacks, right? He has 5 Q stacks if he maxes it, and the biggest issue for Taric is that he runs out of mana very fast. So right now, Taric is just a walking blob of nothing. Doesn't have ultimate, doesn't have mana. It's a rough situation here for Sword Art. He needs to get into base as soon as possible. No ultimate from Gragas, so no combo. Castle is very low. Mystic has Ratatata. I want to take a look at what happened to Betty here. What happened to Betty? Betty just got one-shotted, man. No barrier, no flash. Didn't even have the room to do his W dash. Oh no. Oof. Oof. Wow. So Vladimir gets a decent ultimate. Vladimir still gets up some decent damage, but the only person to get is Twitch, and he's gonna have flash for the next fight as well. Tristana gets one-shotted. Like Tristana just gets blown up. And what is actually Sword Art contributing at this point? Like Taric doesn't have any heals to drop. He doesn't have anything to provide with here. What happened to Karsa anyway? It's just that it feels like flash holes are constantly just trying to disengage. Righteous Glory, Righteous Glory just slows everyone down here. It looks insane actually. Boom. Is it even Righteous Glory? It might be Random Omen. I might be wrong. I'm not too sure about what items Galio has at this point. I just know he has Righteous Glory and Abyssal Mask. Nah, I just think there's no way to win a fight anymore after Taric Ultimate is used the way it was used. Like, it's also important to remember that World Elite is far ahead in terms of gold, and they have it on the right person, which is Twitch. I just want to see Twitch damage done graph, because I think Twitch's damage done is definitely like very, very high. And World Elite get Baron for this. Is the detriment of Flash Wolves that they are just too hesitant? Are they respecting the Janna too much? Because I just don't see what other win condition they have. If they are not willing to engage, how do they expect to win these fights? They are not willing to engage at all, and by the time where they had to group to get priority in mid lane, they did it way too late. Like World Elite got to play their game where they got priority on two sides, or two lanes at once, and Flash Wolves didn't do anything to cut this in half. Excuse me. I had a very rough night. There was like some gunshots outside of my apartment. It sounded like gunshots. I am not gonna say that it was gunshots, but it sounded like gunshots, and it kind of spooked me out. You know, it kind of spooked me out a bit. I'm gonna be honest. I went outside and looked, you know, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And it turns out like that, like some tree. You know, some tree fell down because there's been some like heavy ass storms in Berlin. We at least should be able to just close this out. I don't think I don't see how anything's gonna change here for Flash Wolves in the way they play, or in the way their comp is going to work when they're so far behind. Like, they have only one tool, which is engaging, and if they pick someone off, sure, it might work. But as long as World Elite just disengage the cooldowns, which is a very easy thing for them to do with the Janna and the Gragas, it's going to be difficult for them to get anything done. So draft was very interesting to me, because for me it was like, in my mind, it was a bit of a roller coaster in terms of what Flash Wolves could have done in draft and with their picks, and then World Elite, like, considering they have stronger lanes across the board, they have a lot of disengage to beat this engaged composition of Flash Wolves, and it just worked out beautifully. Very, very well done. Like, they definitely have the picks to disengage. I think Flash Wolves could have denied the Gragas here, and it would have been better. It was a very interesting draft, to say the least, here for World Elite. The Galio was intense. Like, the Galio was so impactful, and he was impactful throughout the game. World Elite delivering a great game here, and I feel like personally my review here wasn't up to my own standard. I feel like I was heavily distracted by, I have something in my throat and I need to just go and remove it as soon as I'm done with this game. And I'll just see you guys in the next game. I think that's where we leave it. Take care.